Welcome to the realm of intoxicating flavors and head-banging beer reviews.
What's up, everybody? It's the Ginger Yeti, and I'm checking in from home. And today I have a pretty special beer here. So if you've been watching my videos, you know I just recently went up to the 2024 Brewtubers Meetup get-together up in Niagara Falls, Ontario. And everybody that showed up brought a bunch of beers. We all threw them in the fridge, and it was kind of just fair game. We did a lot of reviews on different beers, and then when everybody was leaving the last day, you got to grab beers to take home. And the general rule was take whatever you brought. So if you brought 5 beers, you got to take 5 beers home. And one of the beers I found in the fridge was this right here, Ted Danzig. And look at this cool can artwork. I mean, this is amazing. Really love the name of the artwork. And as soon as I saw this, I had to have it. And this beer comes from Liability Brewing Company out of Greenville, South Carolina. And this is one of the beers that my new friend Nutmeg to Pomelo brought to the Brewtubers get-together. Really appreciate you bringing this beer up. Super stoked that I was able to take this one home. Thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate that. If you don't know who he is, go check out his channel. I'll make sure to link him down below in the comments and the description. But this is Ted Danzig. And if you haven't figured it out already, I'm a huge metal fan, huge music fan, and Danzig was a phenomenal metal band. One of their biggest songs came out in 1988. It was Mother by Danzig. I'm sure everybody who listens to the radio, watch MTV, anything, is familiar with that song. And on the back here, there's a little play on that song. So on the back, it says Ted Danzig. Pleasant and friendly, a little dark and broody, the power chord beer. Do you want to find hell with me? Do you want to see everything? Do you want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same? You want to go where people know people are the same? I can show you what it's like. And if you're not familiar with that reference, go look up the lyrics to Mother, because they've made a play off of the lyrics to Mother. And that's just super cool. Really love the reference. I'm a big Danzig fan. Danzig, I went and saw Danzig back in 1994. And it was Marilyn Manson as the opening act. They were the main support. The opening act was a band that nobody ever heard of before called Korn, and then Danzig was a headliner. And it was just an epic night. They called it Nightmare on Carroll Street down in Akron, Ohio. It was just amazing. And I just recently saw Danzig again with Twin Temple and Behemoth, and he still just crushes it, puts on a phenomenal show. Really, really awesome live performance. And again, it's super cool to have this beer. And this is a black lager. And that's just fitting name or fitting style of beer for a Danzig reference beer. And I'm just super stoked to get into this beer. Like I said, this is from Liability Brewing Company. I don't see if there's anything else on the can here. There is a date on here, 2/27/24, so I'm assuming that's a canned on date. Not a whole lot else on here. Nothing on the bottom. Don't see anything about the ABV or IBUs or anything. Untapped says it is 5.5%, but you know how that goes with Untapped. And I'm going to get right into this because I am just super excited to have this beer. Again, I really appreciate this Nutmeg to Pomelo. Really appreciate you bringing this. I am just super excited about this beer. And it's pouring out dark like I expected. Look at that. That's just a nice dark looking beer. Dark, broody looking beer. Going to get right into the nose. That smells chocolatey. A little bit of roastiness, a little bit of chocolate. And that just smells delicious. Yeah, just some nice fine chocolate scents. That smells delicious. I don't know if you can see this, but this is kind of a ruby red kind of cola color. I mean, maybe I'll bust out my light for this if it still works. Can't really see much through it, actually, but I mean, you can see that light behind it. That's like that nice ruby red cola color. I would give that probably about a 22 on the SRMs. And that's got just a nice caramel color, light brown head, real thick, not dissipating very quickly. But this is just a nice looking beer. And I'm excited to try that. Can you tell I'm excited to try that? I've probably said it a dozen times. I'm just super stoked on this can artwork and the name of the can, Ted Danzig. That's amazing. Cheers, everybody. Oh, yeah. Nice kind of medium body. You get some nice roasted malts in there. A little bit of sweetness, almost chocolatey sweetness. It's not overly sweet at all. Some of that nice maltiness in there, roasted malts. And this is just delicious, dark and delicious. Yeah, you get almost a little bit of that kind of char in there. Again, and some of that chocolate. Little tiny bit of bitterness on the like back end after you swallow, which kind of helps cut out some of the sweetness, but it's not very much sweetness at all. But you get a little bit of like chocolate in there. And this is just a delicious Schwartz beer. Now on the can, it does say it's a black lager, but when you look at all the beer rating apps and things, it is considered a Schwartz beer. I think I forgot to say, on Untapped, it gets a 3.85 with 944 check-ins. Nothing on Beer Advocate. Just so excited to try this beer. I mean, this is one of those beers that's just right up my alley. I don't know what Chase paid for it, but I would buy this just seeing it on the shelf. And I would give this a big horns up. This is an awesome beer. This is really good beer. Awesome reference. Really love it. Love the name. Love the references. Perfect name for a black lager. And if you're not familiar with Danzig, say he's heavy metal, but he's not. He's more along the lines of hard rock anymore. I mean, even his old music was pretty, like, on the verge of hard rock heavy metal. It's kind of slow, groovy, dark, brooding, just like this beer. This is an excellent beer. Again, thank you, Nutmeg Palmetto. Really appreciate you bringing this. Super happy I found this in that beer fridge, because that beer fridge was crazy. It was just an adventure trying to find any sort of beers, pick out what beer you wanted, choose a beer out of that fridge. There was so much in there. It's definitely an adventure. And as always, embrace the adventure.